that sometimes how we feel mentally has a serious effect on us physically.
Yes.
I think this is the stress that you talk about.
Okay, so this Candace Pert is a famous, or she's died now, famous scientist who formulated called one of these impossible words to remember. Right, and what it was about is as follows. Neuropsychoimmunology, I think it's called. Right? And so, when we have a thought, it produces a brain chemical, a neuropeptide, to be formed. It's a chemical. And that neuropeptide goes into our bloodstream and attaches onto a cell. When it attaches to the cell, it gives us the feeling within the body. So we've got the thought going on in the mind, producing a neuropeptide. Psychoneuroimmunology is called. Psychoneuroimmunology. Psycho meaning thinking, neuro, and immunology, how it affects our immune system. So then what happens is, these neuropeptides go into the bloodstream and go to the body. On the cell membrane, you've got receptor sites. The neuropeptide comes and attaches to the cell membrane and changes the environment in the cell. And so you feel the sadness in the body. You feel the depression in the body. You feel the anxiety in the body. Right? And the more you have those habitual, if you have a habitual thought pattern, right, the more of those neuropeptides that are produced, the more goes in the blood cell, the more it goes onto the cell membrane. The cell membrane then increases the number of receptor sites for that particular neuropeptide. The more you'll feel the feeling. Right? So the more depressed you feel, the more anxious you feel, the more anger you feel, or whatever it is. Then what happens is, if, say for argument's sake, you go on holiday and all of a sudden you're in a whole different ball game, right, and you're not having your normal stimulus, all of a sudden now you're not getting these same thoughts as you would if you're in your home environment. But then your cells are saying, hey, where's my fix? Where are those chemicals that you always send me down now? Right? And there's a feeling of something's missing. Right? It's just like any kind of addiction, any chemical addiction that you can be addicted to. Right? If you're a drug addict, you take your drugs, you have your fix, and there's a certain feeling of okayness because now you've got your fix. Then, after a couple of hours, the drug wears off, and then you need another fix. Then what happens is the longer you take that, you get what's called down-regulation, and you need to take more and more drugs to get the same fix. This is exactly the same process. And so there's this correlation between our thought processes creating a reaction in the brain, causing a chemical to be produced called a neuropeptide, getting into the bloodstream and affecting the body. So a mind-body connection. Okay. Now,
you can exercise this in the opposite direction.
Yeah. So,
in the methodology that you...
So all the other things that I mentioned, the meditation, the visualization, affects the mind-body through the nervous system. Because the nervous system is where it all happens as such, right? That's where our consciousness is, that's where our thought processes take place, that's where we can, have cognitive function, right? And so if our nervous system was taken out of the picture, there would be no cognitive function. There would be no thinking. There would be, it has to come through the brain. Okay? And, yeah.
I read a lot of Dale Carnegie's philosophical opinions and outlooks. One of the great ones was, act enthusiastic and you will be enthusiastic.
That's what you started off with. Yeah.
Well, that's, for instance, the posture thing. You change the posture, you're changing your hormonal structure or profile. By changing your structure, you're changing your body language, the way you're presenting yourself to the world, the way people react to you and you react to them. And so just by changing those type of things, there's this, we are what we think we are. We are what we think, right? And so so ultimately It is actually all about thinking and thoughts and psychology and how then that affects us. But the reverse can also happen. It's a mind-body connection, so you can affect the mind through the body, right? By physically changing your body, by exercising, by posture, by diet.
And start to incorporate sound, a sound mind in a healthy body.
There you go.
Actually, I think I was going to ask you a question, but I really think you've answered it.
Oh, okay. Okay, what's the question?
I'm going to mention anyway. I've got this nervous trick and muscular thing.
Yes.
It doesn't have to happen all the time.
Yes.
But I know what I have to do. I know all the things you've been saying. I'll go along with completely.
Yeah.
But it's not always possible.
Yeah.
You're not always very successful.
Yeah. Okay, so basically we're talking about the nervous system, right? And we can affect the nervous system through all these things that we've mentioned today, the exercising, meditation, visualization, etc. However, there's also the aspect of the spine that I've also mentioned. Now, that's where the chiropractor comes into it. Because the chiropractor evaluates the spine, finds the area of the spine where there is that dysfunction causing that nerve interference, which then could lead to the twitch, and corrects that. Right? And so you're not treating the twitch directly, you're treating the nerve interference that could be causing the twitch.
I think it's to do with the mind, though. Because I think over a long time it doesn't happen.
Well, stress would exacerbate it.
For some reason,
Yeah.
it just happened, and I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, it can be numerous things. It can be stress related, but it can also be chemically related. So
But then,
it's a stressor,
but
some
then
chemical
for a long
stressor.
time, sometimes don't go for 2 months.
Yeah.
It could have been a cause of stress in the because I've been selling a property and it's been a lot of problems with that. It could be that. So it's not just go.
The trouble with stress is that we've got these minds and we get into habitual mind patterns. So yes, you could have an incident like you're selling a property which causes you a lot of stress, but you might not be selling a property and still be under tons of stress because of a habitual mind pattern. And so people are worriers, they say. They worry about everything. It's because they've got a habitual way of thinking.
Anyway, not to think. Just
Well, okay, that's...
live in the moment.
Yeah, no, but that's right, that's right.
I'm very much a believer in Eckhart Tolle
Yes,
and the power of now.
yes, absolutely right.
And
Well, there is only the now.
Yeah.
The concept of past and present is just a concept because we've only got the
so I
now.
believe all that. And I get really annoyed when it's not working.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before, but I have to say for the last 2 months I've been living what you're describing. You don't think, if you think you're in trouble,
Yeah.
so you just deal with the world as it is and everything that's presented to you at that moment. But I'd never heard that there was something that was special.
Yeah. And
Also,
another,
another thing is if you can't not think positive.
yeah.
You know, make
And an important thing to do is about following on with the thinking story. We've always got this internal chatter going on in our head. And not observing ourselves in our environment, talking to ourselves in some kind of way. So you can call it internal chatter. And what one should do is, number one, become aware of our internal chatter.
awareness.
Yeah, absolutely right. And so that's where the meditation comes into, because that teaches us how to become aware. So one becomes aware of our internal chatter. And then what one should do is become aware of the nature of this internal chatter. Normally it's some kind of drama, right? And we're playing a role in the drama. Maybe we're the victim in the drama, maybe we're the martyr, or maybe we're the whatever. We've got an internal chatter with the drama and we're playing a role in it, right? There's always people attacking us, there's always people being unfair to us, or it shouldn't be like this, and we go, and this goes on and on and on in our head, causing stress, right? And then what one can do is observe the tone of our voice, of our own voice, in that internal chatter. Are we critical? Are we that person with the big stick saying, you're useless, or you could have done this better, and look where you are, and like, is that how we're talking to ourselves? Right? Are we being unkind to ourselves? Right? Are we angry with ourselves? Most of the time we wouldn't talk to anybody in the way that we talk to ourselves in our internal chatter. Right? So becoming aware of that, and then, like in the meditation, thought comes in, let go. Thought comes in, let go. Same thing. You become aware of the internal chatter, let go. Is it going to come back? Yes.
It's not always easy.
Not easy.
Sometimes you can do it and sometimes.
It's not easy because it's habitual and it's been there for years.
Yeah.
Right? And could be from childhood, most probably from childhood. The internal chatter most probably is the chatter that we got from our parents, from our teachers, from our environment, and it's been ingrained into our subconscious. And that's the internal chatter and the type of internal chatter and the quality of that internal chatter. But the only way to change that in a way that's not causing stress in the mind, therefore the body, is to become aware of it and just to let it go. You don't have to get into a battle with it and try and replace it and push it out and resist it, because that's not going to work. In fact, that's going to reinforce it.
That's mindfulness. I mean, very in mindfulness. It takes a lot of steps.
Yeah, it's all about that. And one can't become aware of that without mindfulness.
No.
You see? So you can't deal with the problem unless you know there is a problem. Right? But the important thing about this is a gentle process. It's not a getting rid of. It's not a suppressing. It's not a pushing away. It's not saying I mustn't think. I mustn't think like that. Because the more you do that, the more energy you feed into the system, and as a result of that, you are actually reinforcing it rather than changing it. The way to change it is to take the energy out. And the way of just taking it out is not to engage in it. So you just, comes in, let it go. Comes in, let it go. Comes in, let it go.
It's not always easy.
It's the hardest thing ever.
But sorry, question.
Yeah.
This internal chatter,
Yeah.
to me, is most prevalent at night.
Yeah.
You're lying in bed, it's one of the main things.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Yes. The reason being is that during the day you're distracted. It's there, but you're not aware of it because you're distracted by an environment, by watching TV, by walking down the road, by driving, by doing stuff. At night, you're not doing stuff, and all of a sudden, it's like someone's turned the volume up. But it's been there all the time. In fact, they know when you're asleep. Right? And so then what can you do? You can do that thing that I mentioned, the breathing. You lie in bed, right? You put your hands on your chest here. You can get this mind-body connection going, evaluate how your body feels. With this internal, your body might feel tense. And you can do it in different places. You can touch over here, you can touch over here, and you can touch over here. So you touch here, and you take 3 deep breaths. Just like that, okay? That breathing in itself is going to change the tone of your nervous system. That breathing, like when you take a deep sigh, you feel relaxed instantaneously, don't you? Right? So just that slow, deep breathing is going to start calming down that activity. Then you are aware of where you feel the tension. Let's say you feel it over here. Then you do what I mentioned. You choose a lovely color, a healing color that you imagine it is. You choose a lovely feeling, whatever you want to choose, but don't choose a love for a personal pet, because then you're going to get into a drama.
Again, don't choose.
A love for a person,
Oh,
or you feel sad because of the lost love or whatever it is. So it's an abstract feeling rather than related to somebody in particular. Because you might think of like your favorite pet, and then you think, oh my God, I'm dead, and it's crying, and then you make yourself stressed. So imagine that lovely feeling coming in with a color, and you feel the stress leaving, and you just give it a great smile. Or whatever the quality of the internal chatter is. Is it anger? Is it depression? Is it victim? Is it whatever?
Excuse me, having a test today. You have a
Yeah.
test. Do you actually want to answer it?
I just want to know,
No. Okay. So
I just want to ask,
yeah.
what percentage of your treatment is psychological and physical?
Okay. It's actually not that easy to distinguish
What
the
would you
two.
start off with?
Okay. Okay. So physical doesn't mean it's not psychological,
I know,
right?
but I mean,
Okay. Most of
physical
it,
touch.
most of it is hands-on.
most of it is hand-on.
Yeah.
When would you introduce the psychological
from the beginning.
as you're doing the physical.
No. So, you know, I'd explain what I'm doing before I start and the importance of or the process. And then when they lie on the table, part of the process of my hands-on process. So I say to them, become aware of your breathing. Why? Because when the body is in a state of stress, your breathing reflects that. So the breathing is rapid and shallow and restricted maybe just around the diaphragm area. As I do what I do to calm the nervous system down, the breathing changes to slower rhythmical breathing and it becomes more distributed over the whole spine. That's called a respiratory wave. And so you can observe the change in the breathing, and the breathing becomes deeper and slower and more relaxed. Right? And so they're part of that. So that's mind-body. Right? So it's not one box that, another box physical, whatever. Right? Then, as what I'm doing is releasing those tension patterns by a very specific context. And by the way, this is what it looks like.
Okay.
Right? So there's no cracking, there's no pushing, and all of that, right? Because people are afraid of that. And they're in very specific places to cue the brain, that the brain can evaluate whether there is defense or stress, and the brain then can see that now it's safe to get rid of that defensive physiology because now you're lying on the table and it's safe and you're relaxing, and so let go. So part of that then is I tell the person, become aware of sensations in your body, become aware of tension in the body, become aware of areas of relaxation in the body, become aware of internal movements in the body. And then as the process develops, the breathing pattern changes, and as a result of that, the state of the nervous system changes, and that's going to affect heart rate variability, which we've been talking about, and it's going to affect hormonal levels and all that kind of stuff. There's research on this done at Miami Medical School. Robert Blanks is his name, Dr. Blanks, and it was this technique that I use is called network spinal analysis, and they had a sample group for the research of nearly 3,000 people. So that's a very big research patient sample group to have. The bigger the group, the more significant the findings. So if you have 10 people in the research, it's not as convincing as if you had 100 people in the group on the research to see the differences. And something like 87% of the people that had network spinal analysis on a long-term basis, they spontaneously changed their lifestyle choices. Now, remember we spoke about lifestyle choices, small changes make big differences, right? And 87% of the people changed their lifestyle without coaching from the chiropractor, without being told what to do. They spontaneously started meditating. They spontaneously changed their diet. They spontaneously gave up smoking. They spontaneously started drinking less alcohol. They just changed because with the nervous system changing and upgrading to a higher level of function, they just didn't resonate with McDonald's anymore. They just didn't resonate with eating junk food anymore. That was one part of the research. Another part of the research done at the University of California at Irvine by Professor Yonkia, who is in applied mathematics and engineering. So he's not even part of medical stuff at all, or health stuff at all. And what actually happens is that with this particular technique, it causes the body to self-reorganize the spine. So I don't find the area and think that needs correcting and correct it. By releasing these tension patterns, the body then corrects itself, okay, in a specific way. It's called a network wave or somatopsychic wave. There's the connection, somatopsychic wave. And you might lie there and start doing this, right? And it's just like when you stretch, you don't know why you're stretching like that. You just stretch like that. Nobody showed you how to stretch, right? That's how you release that tension in your body. When you sit inside the bed in the morning, you go, right? You don't know why you do it. You just do it, right? So again, person lying on the table might feel the need to stretch, and so then they do it. And what they did in the research, they put electrodes along the back, electromyograph to check the function in the muscles. And so they could measure what was happening in the muscles along the spine. And they could measure this wave taking place, and it was predictable, and it adheres to a mathematical formula. And it was the same mathematical formula as what's called a central pattern generator. So a central pattern generator is walking. When we walk, it's sending information into the brain and forming a pattern in our central nervous system, in the spinal cord and in the brain. And network spinal analysis is the only spinal generator known apart from walking. So this is reorganizing the function of the nervous system to a higher function. As a result of that, then we're improving the function of the body. As a result of that, then you can start attaining your potential, whatever your potential is. So if you're an athlete and you're running the 100 meters in 11 seconds, but your potential is 10.5, by upgrading the function of the nervous system, you're more likely to be able to attain your potential of 10.5. Of course, you still have to do your training and coaching and all that kind of stuff, but your potential becomes more attainable. And this is all verified by research. So this particular technique is not mechanical, it's not biomechanical, it's not about just correcting the alignment and movement of each vertebra. It's not about that. It's actually about upgrading the function of the nervous system by releasing stress and tension in the nervous system, by releasing adverse mechanical spinal cord tension, and releasing the pressure on the base on the brain stem, improving cerebral spinal fluid flow. In our brain, we've got ventricles, which are like holes, we look that way. And then around our spinal cord, we've got the meninges and the dura, and in there we've got fluid. When we have a epidural, they put the needle into the spinal cord, the place, not into the spinal cord itself, into the medulla, but into that space. And in that space is where the fluid is. And they can take that fluid out and do a spinal tap to see where you've got meningitis, for instance. That fluid should flow. And that flow of cerebrospinal fluid can become interfered with, in other words, less efficient. That's extremely important, that this flow should be flowing the way it should be, because it brings nutrients to the central nervous system and carries away the metabolites. If that is not happening effectively, then you can start getting plaques forming in the brain, which then can lead to neurodegenerative diseases. So by improving cerebrospinal fluid flow, right? It actually cleans the brain, keeps the metabolites out of the brain and keeps your brain young, protects you from neurodegenerative diseases, protects you from cognitive decline.